You did not even realize it, but heaven paused when you prayed, and the moment you whispered my name with a heart that was tired yet still believing, something shifted in the unseen, for I heard you, not as a distant God watching from afar, but as a father who knows the sound of his child's voice even when it trembles, even when it breaks, even when the words are few and heavy with pain, and I tell you today with certainty and love, you moved my heart, not because of how perfect your prayer sounded, not because you used the right words, not because your faith was loud or confident, but because you came to me anyway despite the disappointment, despite the silence you felt before, despite the weight you have been carrying for longer than you admit, and I want you to know this now, nothing you brought to me was small, nothing you felt was ignored, nothing you cried was wasted, and nothing you entrusted to me was forgotten, because when you came to me with an honest heart, heaven listened. I saw the nights when you prayed without tears left to cry, I saw the moments when you questioned whether your prayers still reached me, I saw when you almost stopped praying because it felt like nothing was changing, yet you whispered one more time, you hoped one more time, you believed one more time, and that persistence, that fragile faith, that quiet endurance moved my heart deeply, because it is easy to trust when answers come quickly, but it takes true faith to keep trusting when the road feels long and the outcome unclear, and I want you to hear this clearly today. I am not ignoring you, I am not delaying out of indifference, and I am not withholding out of cruelty, for my timing carries wisdom you cannot yet see, and my plans for you are forming even in the silence. You moved my heart because you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier. You moved my heart because you forgave when you were deeply hurt. You moved my heart because you kept loving when your own heart felt wounded. And every time you chose humility instead of pride, obedience instead of rebellion, trust instead of fear, you stirred something holy in the unseen realm, for I see not only your actions but the cost behind them. I see the battles no one else notices, the sacrifices no one applauds, the choices no one understands, and I tell you today I see you and I am pleased. There were moments when you felt unseen, overlooked, misunderstood, and forgotten, moments when it seemed others were moving forward while you remained waiting, moments when you wondered if your faithfulness mattered at all. But I tell you now, it mattered more than you know, because you were being formed, strengthened, refined, and prepared for what is coming next. And I could not release certain blessings until your heart was ready to steward them, until your character could hold them, until your faith could sustain them, and that is why the waiting was not wasted, the delay was not denial, and the silence was not absence. You moved my heart when you prayed for others while still hurting yourself, when you encouraged others while your own strength felt low, when you praised me even when the outcome was uncertain, and that kind of faith does not go unnoticed, that kind of trust leaves an imprint in heaven, and I want you to know today that I am responding, that I am moving, and that what I am about to do in your life will remind you why you held on, why you did not give up, and why your endurance mattered. Hear me carefully now, because this message is for this moment. I am about to turn something around that has been stuck for a long time. I am about to open a door you thought was permanently closed. I am about to answer a prayer you stopped mentioning because the wait became too painful. And when it happens, you will understand that I was never late, only precise, never distant, only working beyond what your eyes could see, and never silent, only shaping things in ways words could not explain. You moved my heart when you chose to obey me even when it cost you comfort, approval, or security, when you walked away from what felt familiar because you trusted my direction more than your fear, and I want you to know that obedience has a reward, faithfulness has a return, and what you surrendered was not lost, it was planted. And what is planted in obedience will always bear fruit in its season. There are blessings approaching that will require a deeper version of you, a calmer version of you, a wiser version of you, And that is why I allow this season to stretch you, to slow you, to teach you, because what I am giving you next is not fragile, it is weighty, and I wanted you strong enough to carry it, humble enough to protect it, and faithful enough to keep me at the center of it. And I tell you now, the preparation is almost complete. You moved my heart when you kept your heart soft in a world that tries to harden it, when you resisted becoming cynical, when you refused to stop believing in good, when you chose hope even when disappointment tried to convince you it was pointless. And that choice, that inner resistance, mattered greatly because the world needs light that has endured darkness without being extinguished by it, and you are becoming that light. Listen closely now, because I am about to bring clarity where there has been confusion, peace where there has been anxiety, and restoration where there has been loss. And it will not come in chaos, it will come in assurance, it will not come in fear, it will come in stability, and you will recognize it as my hand because it will align, it will fit, and it will bring rest to your spirit instead of striving. You moved my heart when you trusted me with outcomes you could not control, when you released people you loved into my hands, when you accepted that some answers would come through healing rather than explanation, and that surrender was not weakness, it was worship, and I received it as such. Do not think for a moment that your prayers disappeared into silence. Each one was stored, each tear was counted, each sigh was heard, and at the appointed time, what was once cried in secret will be answered in ways that will strengthen your faith and testify of my faithfulness, and you will look back and realize that even the painful parts were shaping something purposeful. I say to you today, lift your head, steady your heart, and prepare your spirit, because I am moving on your behalf, and what is coming will require gratitude more than worry, faith more than fear, and trust more than control. And I want you to walk into it with peace, not anxiety, with expectation, not doubt, and with praise already rising, because you know the one who brought you this far will not leave you now. You moved my heart, and when my heart is moved, heaven responds, doors open, paths clear, and grace flows, not because you earned it, but because love responds to love, faith responds to faith, and a surrendered heart always draws me close. And I tell you this so you will not give up in the final stretch, so you will not doubt in the last mile, and so you will not lose hope just before breakthrough arrives. Remain close to me, remain honest with me, remain dependent on me, and you will see why this season unfolded the way it did, and when you do, you will not regret the waiting, the trusting, or the perseverance, because you will see the beauty of what only I could have arranged. You moved my heart. And this message is your reminder that you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, and you are not forgotten, and what I have promised I will fulfill, for I am faithful always.